Hi there, welcome back to Plow and Pantry. Today we are talking rice mixes. And by rice mixes, I mean those seasoned, pre-seasoned packaged rices you get in the store, like Rice-A-Roni, Zatarans, Knorr, stuff like that. I had never used those until the past couple years. So I didn't grow up with them. I knew them to be a processed product. I just kind of stayed away from them. But then it was probably a pandemic panic buy. I bought a couple boxes. I think regular rice wasn't available. And so I was like, I'd rather have some than nothing because rice is pretty filling. And we liked them. Not uncommon with processed foods. We liked them, but one, they're very expensive per ounce of rice when you consider what they are. They are just basically rice with seasoning pre-mixed for you. That's pretty much all they are. And two, being a processed food, they also have things like stabilizers and things that extend the shelf life and anti-caking agents and things you don't necessarily want in your food. And what I discovered in deep diving there was that they're actually just really easy to make and way less expensive. And so today I am sharing with you, I'm going to do 2 jars each of 6 recipes, 6 different recipes. One of them is new to me. I'll have to let you know sometime how that comes out. And I will, of course, write all of the seasoning things in the description box below so that you can pick out the ones you want to try and make them on your own. What I did was pre-filled. I have pint jars here. You can make these any size. If you are someone who lives alone or there's only 2 of you, you can do the 8-ounce jars. You can do quart jars for a large family. One of these will work well for my family. If my son's home, I would make 2. What I did was filled them with just a regular white rice. Again, you can do your own thing here. We normally eat brown rice, but I had this white rice, like a Costco size bag I needed to use up, so I'm putting that in today. When you cook any of these, when you make them up, all you have to do is follow whatever rice you're using, the directions for that, for the way you're doing it. It should be on your package. So like this is one that says, I think it says like 1 cup of rice to 2 cups of water, which I always feel like is too much anyways. But I do my rice in the Instant Pot, and my Instant Pot says for this rice to do 1 cup of water to 1.5 cups, or 1 cup of rice to 1.5 cups of water. It's just a ratio. So wherever you have your rice in your jar, that's going to be your measurement. So if I were to make this jar, I would fill this up to here with water, and then I would do a half because I'm doing 1.5 in my Instant Pot is how I do it, which that just allows you to like change whatever kind of rice you're using, whether you get something on sale or you prefer a different rice. Like I said, I normally use brown rice, and brown rice takes longer to cook. You can also, there are some mixes out there on the shelf, like the seasoned mixes that you buy pre-made that have rice and pasta. You can do those. I have not, but I have seen people do them with like vermicelli. What I would suggest if you do that is that you use a regular white rice, because the cooking time for white rice is closer to the pasta cooking time. And if you had brown rice, which takes a lot longer to cook with pasta in it, your pasta would be pretty obliterated by the time your rice was done cooking. Anyway, so what I'm going to do here, I've got lids and rings over there. I have a pen to mark here. I've got my seasoning recipes, and I have my measuring tools. Normally when I'm making one thing, I'll use like one of these and one of these, and I will just, if it's a 1/4 teaspoon, I need half, I'll use it twice. But when I'm doing big batch prep days like this, I like to just get it all out and use it. It just makes it faster for me. So I'm going to start with just a seasoned chicken rice. Basic, that is what most people like. I did go down to my basement and pick up a whole bunch of herbs and spices and grabbed some of these from my spice cabinet here. So as I pull these out, I'm going to keep them out because a lot of these actually use the same ingredients. So if you're doing a big batch day, it's actually pretty easy to prepare for it. Which another reason this is cool to make on your own as far as like just using a ratio to cook is you may see that some of these are not exactly the same height. And that's okay, because when you go to cook them, you are just using whatever ratio is necessary, and you can do that off of where your line is. I tried to use my 1/2 cup and do 1.5 cups in each jar, but it was a little bit off. Okay, so starting with the chicken seasoned rice. So in each of these rice things, I'm going to do 3 tablespoons of chicken bouillon. And I have 2 of these chicken bouillons because I wasn't sure I have enough. A lot of these use chicken bouillon. I wasn't sure I'd have enough in one of these. So I bought a big one when I was at Walmart. My Walmart was out of regular chicken bouillon. And I asked about it, and there was a lady stocking shelves right next to there, and I asked, because the whole there were broth, like cans of broth and cartons of broth, but no bouillon, not the cubes, not the powder, nothing. It was empty. And I asked the lady what was going on, and she said they were having problems getting it in right now. So I went over to the Mexican food section and got this one. These were in plenty of stock. But so if you are having, are you guys having problems finding bouillon? I have not heard of a shortage for it or anything. So I was like a little bit caught off guard. But if you can't find it, try our Mexican section. Same store. Okay. 3 tablespoons of bouillon. By the way, I did leave these. I didn't fill them all the way up because I wanted to leave room for the seasonings. All right. So my chicken bouillon, 3 tablespoons in each. I'm going to do a tablespoon of parsley in each. Where's my parsley? A 2 teaspoons of onion powder. I'm using the bouillon alone. I'll leave that out. Where's my onion? Here it is. 2 teaspoons of onion powder. Yeah. I am going to vacuum seal these. I should have put the seasonings on the bottom, because that would be easier to vacuum seal without powder getting in the way. 1/4 teaspoon of thyme. Where's my thyme? Don't we all need more thyme? On the bottom, of course. 1/4 teaspoon of thyme. Just refilled this after dehydrating some from the garden. And 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. Garlic powder. And then this one is done. Put the lid on it. Chicken, rice. Sometimes when I'm cooking these up, I do like to add like a pat of butter or like taste it, see if it needs a sprinkle of salt. Chicken bouillon is pretty salty, so it probably won't. But there's 2, the chicken rice. Next one, beef rice. We're going to use beef bouillon for this one. 2 tablespoons per jar. Starting to clump. This is like summer in the East Coast area. It's all humid, so before you open anything powdery, you kind of have to make sure any clumps are broken up. A tablespoon of parsley, which I left out. I would just leave the lids off of these, except that then I will not realize which one's which. So my lids have the labels on them. Parsley, a teaspoon of onion powder. This one goes really good with the roast. Serve it over the rice with like make a gravy out of the juice. Great. And a 1/4 teaspoon thyme again. It's very similar to the chicken. It's just beef. Oh, whoops. I accidentally grabbed 2 lids there. Now I have 4 done. See, these are one of those things that if you put, like, just prep for it all at once, the actual production of it goes by really, really quickly. Next up is onion rice. Ooh, I'm hoping for these that I have enough room, because I know that I need to use my onion soup mix, and I'll need to use a lot of it. I do have, you can use like the envelopes of onion soup mix from the store. I do have a video where I showed you how I make my own onion soup mix along with some other seasoning mixes. I'll link that for you in an iCard here. We're going to use 3 tablespoons of the onion soup mix in each jar. I never used to use the onion soup mix, and then I started coming across crock pot recipes that called for an envelope of this and an envelope of that. I started using it more. That's why I started making my own mix. A teaspoon of parsley this time. Where's my parsley? This does make a little bit of mess on the counter. Just do it once, make the mess once, clean it up. It's all good. I tend to be messy when I cook. Oh, salt and pepper. I forgot this. A half teaspoon of salt. Quarter teaspoon of pepper. Just ground pepper. So this is an onion rice, also good with a roast. How did I end up with an extra lid? And we're halfway done already. Okay, next one. Spanish rice. So this is like your Mexican food rice. All right, I'm going to do a teaspoon of salt in each. A teaspoon of onion powder. A half a teaspoon of chili powder. This is mild chili powder. You can use a spicy one if you like, but I just prefer the mild flavor to it. A half a teaspoon, sorry, a quarter teaspoon of pepper. Wrong one. I already did the salt. A teaspoon of cumin. Getting all those Mexican flavors in there. A teaspoon of garlic powder. Two teaspoons of the chicken bouillon. Almost empty. 2 teaspoons of tomato powder. Okay, so this is tomato powder I made from freeze drying tomatoes and grinding them up. I don't really love, you can buy tomato powder, by the way. You can also leave it out and then squirt in a little bit of tomato paste while you're making it. I one time did the thing where like you save your tomato skins from when you're blanching tomatoes and you dehydrate them and you grind them up. To me, it was a lot of work, like trying to lay out those skins and stuff. And I didn't love the product any more than this. And so I'd rather just feed those to my chickens and save myself the work. So what I do to get tomato powder every year is I'll take a few tomatoes, like 1 tray, and freeze dry them and grind them up and use that for tomato powder. So, but like I said, you can use tomato paste when you're actually cooking it, probably like a tablespoon, maybe a little less than that. Spanish rice. These over here. All right, next two, let's do, okay, this is the one that's new to me. And the directions for this one are actually, they're a little bit different. So here's what I'm going to do. So the directions for this one, I will link this below. It's from like the University of Minnesota or something like that. The directions for this make a batch of curry seasoning. This is curry rice. I make a batch of curry seasoning and then have you add a certain amount of that to each jar. I would rather have it straight in the jar. So I'm going to kind of divide this up in my head. So I'm going to use a tablespoon of minced onion in each one. And a tablespoon of curry powder. Where's my curry? Oh, in each one. I love the smell. It's like a warm, comforting smell. I doubt I will have time to taste this one before I post this video, but if I do, I will let you know how it is. And what I will do is come back to this video whenever I do taste it, and I will put in the description box, like, update, the curry one was fabulous or the curry one stank, don't make it, okay? So I decided to just go ahead and make that this morning while I was editing this video so that I could just update you now. And I did make this in the Instant Pot, which is my normal rice method. I put 1 jar of the rice mix and then 1.5 jars of water into it, kind of swirled it around, mix it together, and set it for 8 minutes. I did do a quick release. I usually do a quick release, but if I've gotten busy before and didn't do it right away, it didn't ever mess up the rice. I mean, it might if you left it for a long time, but it doesn't seem to be a problem if you do quick release or wait for it to come down naturally, so long as you don't leave it on warming for hours and hours and make it burn. And as you can see, I tasted it and it was good. I like it with a really strong curry flavor, and that's what it has. You might want to put like 3/4 of a tablespoon instead of a full tablespoon of curry powder if you like yours a little bit lighter in flavor. But it was a good one, and I would make it again. Chicken bouillon. I'm going to do a tablespoon of each of the chicken bouillon. This is not a tablespoon left in here. Open this one up. Teaspoon of garlic. And 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric. And we'll see if I can get my turmeric open. I really need to put this in a new container. It sticks on me all the time. Ooh, it was being nice to me today. 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric. First time I had like turmeric and curry powder and stuff, I was really scared of it because it's so vibrant in color that I thought the flavor would be like, it's actually a pretty tame flavor. Way more tame than I expected. So if you've never tried curry, don't be afraid of it. It's not that strong of a flavor. And I thought this would be good sometime. I like curry salmon with rice, and I just thought it'd be good to have like just grill some salmon or bake some salmon and put it on curry rice instead of the other way around. Okay, so curry, and our last one is just an herb one I do. And I do the same thing on, I will often make this herb blend in batch, and then I will put some in here and I will put some, like I'll just sprinkle it on buttered noodles, stuff like that. So here though, I'm just gonna put it in straight in the jar. So I'm gonna start with bouillon, a tablespoon each of bouillon, the chicken in this one. Bouillon's really the key to all this because it makes your water, when you add it to it, it makes it a flavored thing. Parsley, we're gonna go with a teaspoon of parsley. Going through this parsley pretty quick. I'm gonna have to dehydrate another batch. A teaspoon of dried basil. Here's my basil. I didn't crunch up my basil as much as my parsley. I've got big leaves in here. A 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder. A teaspoon of garlic powder. And a teaspoon of lemon pepper, which might seem odd, but it was good. So the first time I made this, I kind of just was playing with just like a buttered herb blend idea, and I was going to get buttered powder. You can order butter powder online. I was just going to get some of that and put that in here, and I never ended up ordering it. So what I decided to do was just when I cook this, I'm adding a tablespoon or 2. I think I usually add 2 tablespoons of butter. And what I've really found is that I like to stir it in at the end when the rice is done. Just a preference. So this is just herby rice. And if there are some herbs you like better, especially with rice, like maybe I don't have like oregano in here, or you could add, feel free to add it. Make your own herb blend that you like to have. I thought I had dill in here. Apparently not. I got the dill thinking that it was in here. That would be kind of weird. So there we have, in less than 20 minutes, we have 30 minutes if you count all the time it took me to find all my seasonings, both in the basement and up here, and put them together and get the rice into the jars and find all my jars. But we have 12 jars of pre-seasoned rice ready to just throw in a pot with water and cook and let it do its thing the way you normally do while you cook the rest of dinner. So I hope you found this video helpful. Let me know in the comments if you're going to try one of these, or if you have one version of this that you like that I haven't made today. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. I hope you have a fabulous day.